What does being a UOH Cougar basketball fan mean to you?
It is, I guess, one of the most exciting things you could ever do. And I've always looked at it kind of like Howie, you know, this is like my family. I don't have much family in the area, so literally, it's my family. And when you've been here like Howie, I've been here 60 plus years. I'm in my 61st year and I'm in my 80th year for age. And when you've been doing that this long, you know all the generations. I mean, they really are kind of like family. I've known all the coaches and, you know, so this is home in a way.
What's it like just for you to walk into this place and everybody's like, hey, Josie, how's it going, Josie? Good to see you again.
I mean, that's terrific.
That's so
like
fun.
Even the students, where we sit, the students are all behind us in a long row. And now I know about 20 or 30 of the students want to give me a high five. At the last game, they, hey, Josie. So, and I was just telling some of them, in fact, at the last game, they said, we admire, blah, 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 you're always so lively. And of course, they had no idea how old. And I said, well, here's my tip for you to stay young your whole life. Oh, tell us. And I said, one of the biggest reasons I've kind of stayed young is because I have always followed my team. And that's one of the biggest tips for a lifelong, young at heart, young at everything. And, you keep coming out here with your buddies, even as you get older and older and older. You keep your friends together, and, the excitement never goes away.
So tell me your story. You were a cheerleader back in the 60s. And you went to the Final Fours back then, and you haven't missed a Final Four since.
No, and then I've been even to the ladies' Final Four. So for U of H, I've been to every Final Four, though I lived overseas 17 years. I would make it back, and that's when we didn't have so much money. But by gum, we're coming.
You were coming back.
We're coming.
You're not going to miss that.
Yeah, they'd have to, I don't know what they'd have to do to keep me out of the Final Four. I'd find a way. But
well, you don't have to go far this year if it happens.
No, isn't that wonderful? It's a dream come true.
Yeah.
Back in the day, because I was cheerleader luckily for the first two Final Fours, I was on the court for the game of the century, under the basket, watching Elvin do his magic. He played better than, he's out of his gourd that night. And then, for all the Final Fours. And back then, it was almost like it was a dream. It was like, we came from nowhere almost. I mean, I know that Phi Slamma Jamma was really what we call the Cinderella teams the first year. Nobody saw us coming. Those years, they hadn't seen the Cougars coming because we had really just come out of Missouri Valley. So, I mean, there were a lot of reports saying this game put us on the map. And that was for one of our football games in '67 when we upset the #1 team in the nation by a lot.
Yes, Michigan State.
Yes,
yeah,
and right. I was there for that. See how lucky am I?
You have been everywhere.
It might have been because I'm a great cheerleader. No.
That might be the case.
But at any rate, my whole thing is I just kind of try keeping all of us together, all the people from back then and all of the people now. And I'm now the president of the letter winners, which is all the people that ever have lettered at U of H in any sport, and that's my goal. I'm just out there trying to
get everybody involved,
get everybody back, get everybody, keep them, going big, and build better for that Big 12 conference.
That's big. That's next year, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I do have to ask you about when you watch this team play, this edition of the Cougars play. What goes through your mind? How much fun is this group to see compete?
Well, I've loved them all, and this one's no exception. I mean, they're in many ways, you think, hey, has it ever been any better?
Yeah.
And so I kind of know the guys a little bit, and I think they're fun, and so it's easy to cheer for, and I've always been about tradition too. When I was in high school, already our women's program was going to state. If we didn't go to state every year, we were just crestfallen. We were expected to go. And there wasn't much girls basketball. But I was from Duncanville when it was like 5,000 people.
Yeah.
And we went. And so I asked coaches and all the people that had kind of built that program, how did we do this? Because as you know, now it's still going on.
It's a powerhouse now.
I mean, it was then.
Yeah.
It was then too. We were as strong as anybody in the whole state.
Yeah.
And so, you know what, I think without exception, every coach and every say, for instance, like the head of the school board and the different people, and they almost all said, how you do it is tradition. Tradition. And, you know, you just get, I think what they meant, you get that tradition going with your fans, with your teams, with your recruits, with your coaches, with the administration, and everybody. That's what they're playing for, is to go back to state, go back to Final Fours. And then you've got that love from when you were, you know, it's just no different. When I got here to be a student, I was already, you know, this tremendous fan. And I just didn't know anybody else would, and I thought everybody's going to be that way, and we're all going to, the whole town would come out and support the team. Right. I just thought, hey.
Well, it's kind of cool that the whole town's behind this team now, isn't it?
It is, and it is, and I hope that the town will keep that going, because if they will, in my estimation, then that means we'll have more Final Fours right here in Houston, you know, and more teams that make the Final Four from U of H. You know, if the town's behind us, and you know, when I got here, we had nothing. Cheerleaders sewed their own uniforms. Oh, God. We didn't have a gym to play in. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
When we went to our first 2 Final Fours, U of H did not have its own gym. We were playing in a high school gym across town, Del Mar Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
And yet we went to the 2 Final Fours playing in a high school gym. That shows you the power of a great coach. And of course, he's the one that conceived the game of the century and sold Judge Hoffines, let's play it in the Astrodome. Right. And then he talked the judge into, let's build Hoffines Pavilion. Yeah. And that's why it's named Hoffines. Right. So Guy Lewis, you know, really got it rolling for us, and he was a student, you know, and he played and he coached here, one of our own.
You bleed Cougar red.
I bleed Cougar red everywhere there is.
Do you own anything but red in your wardrobe?
Hardly. And
I believe you.
If I have it, I hardly ever wear it.
Why? Why wear anything
why?
else?
Why would you? Good thing it's, and in my high school it was red. My color was red.
You're set.
My husband's color, he's Katy Tiger, red.
There you go, red.
He was on the first ever championship team at Katy.
Oh, that was 59.
You're right. I think you're right. I'm not from the area, but I believe that's correct.
I think it's 59. Yeah, I've lived in Katy a long time. So,
yeah.
Josie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
it's a
it.
pleasure.
Wow.
Thank you.